Hey there everybody, and welcome back to another episode on this channel. So on today's topic, guys, I'm going to go over on how to, basically financially prepare yourself during a recession. Now let me just say real quick that I personally didn't want to make this video right now, mainly because, every YouTuber out there is trying to make a recession video that, we're going to go into a recession, stock market crash, just everybody's trying to make a video. And I mean, I just don't like to hop into that trend because it's just something that I don't personally like to do. Because a lot of people like to do it for clout, to get more followers and whatnot, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, guys, I mean, everybody's talking about it, so there's really no originality within those videos if you think about it. But on today's video, I mainly want to talk about how to financially kind of handle yourself during a recession. But let's be brutally honest here, guys. I'm going to be total transparent with you. As a millennial, millennial, whatever you want to call it. Personally, I kind of hate that word, but that's what we are. We as millennials have not been punched in the damn face when it comes to a market crash, okay? Now, I don't know about you guys, but the last time that '08 crash happened, I was barely like 14, 15 years old or so. I was barely a teenager. And the only thing I remember about that recession was Young Jeezy's album, The Recession, which was a fire album, by the way. And honestly, that's the only thing I really remember. I didn't pay attention really to the news. But then again, I mean, what teenager really does? Which is why kind of funny that so many millennial YouTubers out there trying to make a recession video when they've never actually been through a recession financially themselves, okay? Now, maybe your parents have, and maybe you remember something like that, then okay. But personally, as an investor, I don't think there's any millennial out there who can really speak on it. And not even me. Again, these are just going to be my opinions, just my recommendations as to what I would probably do. And I mean, this ain't no legal advice to anybody, so do take it with a grain of salt, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, so do take my advice with a grain of salt, full disclaimer. But again, as millennials, we have not gone through an actual recession ourselves as investors. And it's just funny that so many people are actually, trying to talk about it when they haven't been through it, okay? So, I mean, that's just something that I've been seeing around on YouTube lately, and really just anywhere on social media. And then people trying to drop courses on how to, I mean, just a whole lot of, kind of bullshit crap, like, dude, you have not been through an actual recession yourself, so how can you really speak on that topic, So my recommendations on this video, guys, are going to be brief and simple, okay? Now, obviously, one of the first things that you want to do if something like this did occur, I mean, and again, guys, no one can predict when this will ever happen, okay? It could be tomorrow, it could be next month, next year. I mean, the markets can continue to go higher and higher for the next 20 years, and we may never see a crash until then. But I mean, history seems to repeat itself, so I mean, who knows, okay? But one of the first few steps that one should consider in doing is paying off debt, guys, okay? Now, I get it. As investors, you want to save up money, get some cheap stocks if that ever occurs. But to be brutally honest, guys, you really should consider paying down your debt first, okay? Now, if you have a house, that may be different. I mean, not everybody can pay a couple of thousands of dollars on a house right away. But if you have a car payment or credit card debt or maybe some college debt, I mean, I don't know how much college debt is for some of you, then you might want to consider paying those off first before this even ever occurs, okay? And that's because, I mean, listen, guys, when a recession happens, from what I've read, from what I've understood, reading through articles and watching videos and whatnot, again, I've never been through it personally. Maybe my parents have, I don't remember. But if there's one thing about a recession, guys, or a stock market crash, however you want to call it, is that people tend to lose their jobs, okay? Their companies either lay them off because they can't afford to pay them, and then on top of that, they've over leveraged themselves with so much debt that when they do get fired, they're financially screwed entirely, okay? And if you have a car payment still or a house payment when something like this happens and you're out of a job, I mean, you're financially screwed, dude. Like, there's no going out of this whatsoever. So that's why it's important to try to pay off your debt as fast as you can, okay? Because again, guys, history repeats itself, so the possibilities of this happening are pretty high, especially with interest rates being cut down and just so much coronavirus. I mean, the markets are triggered, okay? Everybody's panicking, people are selling off, and I mean, guys, I mean, who knows what could happen? So paying off your debt is crucial if you want to survive in a recession, okay? Which is why I'm personally paying down my car off first before doing anything else, so that if something does happen, I don't have that payment on me whatsoever. That car will be paid off. In fact, at the time of this video, it should be paid off within the next 2 months or so. So I'll have that debt out. I won't have it on my name anymore. But I'll make a separate video on that topic alone, alright? Now, one other thing that you might want to consider is saving up money for an emergency fund. Now listen, if something like this ever actually happens, the first reaction to a lot of investors is going to be to go buy stocks, okay, or real estate, or whatever happens, you know. That's going to be everybody's first intention. And I mean, I don't blame you. Shit, that's going to be one of my first intentions as well. But listen, before you start investing, you need to really consider if you have an emergency fund fully set first. Because again, just like with credit card debt or any debt in general, well, if you go out of a job and you don't have that emergency fund in place, well, I mean, how are you going to be able to invest? You know, you can't invest with money that you possibly going to need to survive for the next few months, okay? So that's why it's imperative to have an emergency fund on the side as well. So in case it does happen, you'll have your debt knocked out and you'll have a safe emergency fund just in case. That way you're still on your feet and you don't get knocked back down. Because you don't want to invest, you know, an emergency fund into stocks when they could continue to keep going down. And if you're out of a job, what are you going to eat off of, right? Then you might have to potentially sell some of your stocks for a loss because they keep going down. So you might want to consider that as well, okay guys? So make sure you have these two things, you know, checked off, have them in place. Because me personally, I mean, I have an emergency fund already set in place, so I mean, I'll be good, okay? Nothing terrible will happen too deeply on our side over here. So please have your debt knocked out and have an emergency fund set just in case something like this ever happens, okay? Now again, these are just my opinions. Don't take them seriously. Do your own, you know, research. You know, go with a plan that goes to you. Maybe you do have an emergency fund set and you just, I mean, you're just ready to knock out stocks. If that's the case, then, I mean, hey, more power to you, okay? If you have the money to, you know, just invest and have an emergency fund, then why not? I mean, a lot of millionaires were created out of the '08 crash, okay? So one of them could be you. And lastly, guys, if you get laid off from a job or something, but you have that emergency fund set and you have your debt knocked out, I mean, go look for a job, okay? Go apply anywhere and everywhere. I mean, just apply and just get any type of job and just try to make some money to survive at the least, okay? Or make a little extra money to actually invest into some stocks, because I mean, to have extra money, maybe working from a job, that doesn't sound like a bad idea, especially if it's to invest into some more assets, right? Or if you have a business and it seems to be going downhill, then I mean, again, look for a job. You know, there's nothing wrong with getting a job, you know, to temporarily have you back on your feet, okay? Because once the economy starts picking back up, then, you know, obviously you can go back to your business, or maybe your business is doing well still and you're able to maintain yourself. Maybe you just got to cut back on a few things. But regardless, guys, these are just some of the precautions that one should take if something like this ever occurs. Now, financially, I haven't been through this myself. I mean, again, maybe my parents did. I mean, I just don't remember. It's been so long. I mean, I don't know how many millennials actually really remember what actually happened. I mean, I just went to school, did my thing, and I mean, I just don't remember, honestly. So it's hard for me to give advice on something that I have not been through. But again, this is just something that I would do based on my research, based on, you know, some of the videos I've been watching on YouTube on this. I mean, the main concern seems to be that people lose their jobs and they don't have an emergency fund set and they financially get screwed. So based off that research, that's what my advice on this video is going to be, okay? But again, what do I know? I haven't been through it. I mean, no other millennial YouTuber has been through it either. I mean, so again, take it with a grain of salt and do your due diligent research and do whatever you can to put yourself in a better position for if something like this ever does occur, okay? You don't want to be on the end stick where you're out on the streets begging for money, looking for a job just because you didn't set yourself financially, and especially if you have a family. If you have a family, you really need to buckle down and, you know, set yourself straight and get your finances in order, okay? Because I know I'm almost ready, and when the time comes, guys, I mean, we're gonna attack, okay? We're ready to attack. We're gonna be ready to attack and just, you know, buy out the crap out of a lot of stocks or whatever assets go down when something like this does ever occur. But again, we don't know when it's gonna happen. Don't listen to somebody else who's gonna tell you that they know when it's gonna happen, because they don't. Because if they did, well, they would probably be more richer than Jeff Bezos, right? But they're not, and they don't know. So again, take the advice with a grain of salt. Do your research. Just move on with your day and try to move forward, all right? But before I leave, guys, I'm gonna leave a card up here somewhere on the video. I'll see you on that video over there, all right? Check it out. If you like this one, you probably like that one as well. And that's gonna be it for this video, right, guys? Later.